Hansworm Hat. In this video, I want to talk about kind of an everyday thing that maybe you've asked questions to yourself about it before, maybe you've just never thought about it, maybe you never go down this aisle in your local grocery store, I don't know. But have you noticed in the grocery store, which grocery store mostly is supposed to be selling groceries, food, sure, they have other hair care stuff, they have toothbrushes and toothpaste and all that. Yeah, but have you noticed how big of a space they have for hair dye? It's one of the biggest sections. If you think of the grocery store and you think of like a niche item type and think of how much shelf space it gets, why does hair dye get such a huge amount of shelf space? Shelf space is like realty when it comes to grocery stores. The ability to get shelf space, that's big. You've noticed how Coca-Cola, sometimes Coca-Cola will be able to take over a huge section of an aisle just with Coke products. And sometimes you'll be looking for another product and they just have one little tiny section. Okay, what is up with this huge hair dye section? It, does everybody go to the grocery store to get their hair dye? Just from my own personal life experience, people that I know that dye their hair, they usually go to a salon to get their hair dyed. It's not typical for people to, oh, I went to the grocery store and bought something and dyed my hair myself. That's not typical. And even if you were looking for something like that, wouldn't you rather go to a place like Rite Aid or some sort of pharmacy that kind of specializes in beauty products? Why the grocery store? Why does the grocery store have such huge amount of space dedicated to selling hair dye? And it gets a little bit more noticeable when you start to pay attention to other details, like usually packages really want to push the product, and well, not the product necessarily, the brand of that product. And notice here, you can't even read any of the brand names. At least I can't. I mean, maybe if I zoom in a little bit, it becomes more noticeable, but the face, it's all about the face. That's the whole point of the packaging on these hair things. You see, it's all about selling that face. And that's what it is. Look at the nice one eye here. Look at all the different faces. Most packaging, they'll have, a handful of models that they like to keep using for the same thing, or they'll get some celebrities or something. Hair dye is very different. So many different faces staring back at you when you're in this hair dye aisle. It's it's all just it's the brainwashing, it's the MTF brainwashing aisle. That's it. I mean, finally getting to the point of this video. What's the point? The only reason that this aisle exists in grocery stores, and the reason that this aisle is so huge in grocery stores, places where everybody goes and very frequently, is to brainwash you so that you think that men with long hair are women. That's the entire purpose of this. They get you to see all of these man faces with long hair, shiny long hair, being presented as women. It's a brainwashing aisle. That is 100% the reason for this aisle in grocery stores. There's no way that they make money off of selling hair dye in the grocery store. They might sell like one hair dye package every month or something crazy like that. I don't know the figures. If somebody works at a grocery store and they actually know how often people buy this stuff, but it makes no sense that they give so much shelf space to a product like that. They're selling you they don't have to sell you anything. The purpose of this aisle is not to sell you anything, but the image of the Baphomet man face being sold to you as a woman. That's why this aisle is so huge. That's why the packaging looks the way that it does. All these different faces, man faces. Just nothing else is packaged like this and presented to you like this in the grocery store. The only other thing in the grocery store I can think of this is just when you're checking out and they have all the celebrity magazines posted all over there. That's the other instance of this in the grocery store. But there you go. Maybe I just answered a question that you've had or maybe never had before. Why is the hair dye aisle in the grocery store so stinking big, it's because it's there to program you to think that men with long hair are actually women. And you'll notice that you don't need to have a big aisle for the Free Martins, because they already blend in. They don't have to program you to think that a Free Martin's a man, but they have to program you to think that these men are women. And yeah, it's always around your any magazine cover is going to be the same thing, but to me it's so obvious. Like there's no reason for there to be this much hair dye specifically at the grocery store. It's always like 3 times as big as any other similar section. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone.